Charlie? Excuse me. Can I just remind you that yesterday I paid a whole £46 for you to go to the groomers? And all you want to do is run around in the wet grass? Really? Only I could think it's a good idea to take the dog for a walk over the farmer's fields the day after he's had a groom and after it's rained continuously for the last week or so. I don't know what I was thinking. Paid all that money yesterday to have him groomed and he now looks, well, he's just a mess. He's absolutely caked in mud. I'm going to have to give him a shower. But anyway, it's Wednesday and it's the 1st of May and it is still raining. I'm just prepping some lunch for me and Sienna. I've just picked her up from school. I'm loving it at the moment, like getting one of these bowls and just filling it up with loads of salad and then one of those bird's eye chicken grill barbecue ones, the ones I bought, these sweet and sticky barbecue grills. Popping one of them in the air fryer and then slicing up on top. Super yummy and I guess healthier than any of the alternatives that I'd probably much rather eat, like a bag of chips from the chip shop. I am super craving that at the moment, really fancying chip shop chips and curry sauce, but I am resisting. This video is going to be a lot about Felicity and I'm going to do it whilst doing this because I find it easier to talk whilst I'm doing something at the same time. But you'll have probably guessed from the title, if you've been here for a long time, that yesterday we got the diagnosis that we had been hoping we would never get, which is that Felicity has a condition called complex regional pain syndrome. Something they've been like banded about over the last few weeks that I'd refused to even consider because it's just not the diagnosis that anybody is going to want in their lifetime and certainly not for their child. And the reason I want to do this video is because I am so grateful for having YouTube. It has been at times something that I've wanted to walk away from, something I just want, you know, only a few months ago I took down all the videos and that was it. I was going to be done. But I'm so glad that I didn't do that because not only is doing YouTube giving me an income so that I can be around for Felicity and for Sienna and the rest of my family 24/7, and obviously I'm so grateful for that, but it's also put me in touch with somebody today that has a child that also has CRPS, and without this app I would have probably never come across this lady, and just knowing that I'm not alone right now is invaluable. I've had a conversation like via Instagram with her today, and just knowing that she's going through and gone through this as well, and to see her daughter, and I was just, yeah, glad that I didn't just throw the towel in all those months ago. I'm going to meet up with this lady and her daughter in the summer holidays, and I think it will be really good for Felicity to meet another person that is going through what she's going to be going through. So I want to do this video because I've searched every corner of the internet, like I've said before, for any information to help me with Felicity's symptoms that she's had over the last 12 weeks. And one day somebody might come across this video and it might help them because they might be able to resonate, it might give them some information, it might give them some idea of what they might be facing. And like how helpful it's been for me today to have this conversation with this lady who has a daughter with the same condition, someone out there might stumble across this video one day and it might help them. And I know that that's what Felicity would want as well. Also, another side of it is that we're going to get Felicity better. You know, we're determined that we will get her better. And these videos she'll be able to look back on in, you know, years, months down the line and see just how incredible and how strong she is. And I think that that as well is a real positive, as well as hopefully like I say, giving someone else in the same situation some form of comfort. So I'm going to go right back to the beginning, because some people, like I said, I'm hoping in the future, well, I'm not hoping, because I hope no one ever has to deal with this, but realistically, one day someone might be scrolling the internet like I have been and come across this video. So I want to go back to the beginning and explain what's happened to Felicity over the last 12 weeks and what the plan is moving forwards. So Felicity is 8. She's 8 years old and we live in the UK. And during February half term, it was a typical February in the UK, cold, wet, miserable, and I took Felicity with some friends swimming. The local swimming pool had a huge inflatable obstacle course. Filled half of the pool. It was massive, and earlier on in the week, a couple of my friends had been to this swimming pool and had said, did I want to go? And I was a bit like, nah, it's cold, it's wet. And then later on that day, they sent me pictures and videos of what they'd been up to at the swimming pool, and I was like, oh, why did I not go? Like, the girls have absolutely loved that. When they said about going swimming, I thought it was just the cold local swimming pool, you know, the great big rectangle cold pool. I didn't have a clue that they had this big inflatable. So a couple of days later, one of my friends said she was going to book and go again, and did I want to go? And I jumped at the chance. So I booked us in and we went off to swimming, and Felicity had an absolute whale of a time, as you can imagine. She was flying across this obstacle course and down the slide at the end, and her and her friends were jumping in the pool. She was a really confident and strong swimmer. Then later on that evening when we got home, she said that her knee was hurting. And as you do as a parent, you say, oh dear, you'll be fine. Here's some Calpol, get an early night, sleep it off, you'll feel better in the morning. You know, we all do that when our children start to, complain of something aching, or, they've got a headache and all those sorts of things. We say, there, here's some Calpol, go and get some sleep. And I put her to bed, and then the next morning we got up and we went out for the day. We were going to like a local-ish farm shop which had loads of animals for a Toby carvery, and we needed to pop in IKEA. So we did all of that, but when we got to where we were going, I noticed that Felicity just didn't seem herself, and she's a very sensitive, quiet little soul, and she doesn't like to complain, but I could just see in her face that she wasn't her normal self. So I said to her, like, oh Felicity, what's wrong? You don't look very happy. And she said, it's just my knee, mummy. So I gave her some Calpol and we carried on with our day. And the following day, she was still saying her knee was hurting. So I said, let's just spend the day at home today and you can just rest it, and hopefully, you'll get better. So that was the Saturday. And then on the Saturday evening, she was crying in pain. She was in absolute agony, and her leg has gone completely mottled. Her knee was swollen, and I thought, something's not right here. So I did what I always did, what I always do, and I called my mum, because my mum has worked as a frontline ambulance for many years. So whenever there's anything wrong with the kids or myself, the first thing I do is call my mum. So I rang mum and she was like, yeah, take her down to A&E. So in A&E they did a x-ray. They said that she had strained her MCL ligament and they put her on crutches, and that was that. And I've been through plenty of injuries with my children, with having older boys that are into like football and rugby and other sports. So having a child on crutches wasn't something new to me. So I just thought, a couple of days on crutches and some rest and she'll be right as rain. Fast forward 5 days to the following Thursday, she came out of school. She was no longer even straightening her leg at the knee. It was continuously bent, and her whole leg was freezing cold. Like, it was so cold. It felt like she'd had it in ice. So that put the fear in me. I was like, something's not right here. So I called the doctor and took her up to the surgery. He wanted her to go into the hospital, so she went into the children's ward, and in the children's wards they did blood tests, x-rays of her hips, because they said that sometimes you can have a problem with your knees. You can have a problem with your hips and it can manifest itself in your knee. So she had an x-ray of her hips, another x-ray of her knee, and a blood test. The following day, the consultant that saw her sent her for an MRI. So we went down for an MRI, and a few hours later the consultant came to see us and said that they'd ruled out anything really, really nasty, which was things like bone cancer, and they were happy for us to go home and see the consultant the following week. So because it was now Friday night, so it was the weekend, so we went home and then we saw a consultant. We didn't see them for another week or so. I was calling up on the daily, sort of chasing the results of the MRI, and I was under the impression that they would see her sooner than her follow-up appointment that had been booked after her A&E trip, and they didn't. So it was just, we went to the routine, already scheduled consultant's appointment at Trauma and Orthopaedics. The consultant that saw her there said that there was fluid and swelling present on the MRI, which was, you know, in connection with like a strain of the knee, and that he fully expected to see her back in clinic in 2 weeks' time, walking with no crutches. So we left, and I banned Felicity from using the crutches in the house because we were told, you know, you need to get her off the crutches and using her leg again. So that's what we tried to do. A week passed, and there was just something wasn't right. She wasn't improving. She still wasn't able to straighten the leg, and when she tries, you can see that it's causing her a lot of pain, and she sort of trembles. So we took her to A&E and said, you know, we're just not happy. I feel like something's been missed. Surely she must have some form of injury, because you don't get in this much pain for no reason. So she was seen in A&E by the A&E Trauma and Orthopaedics, and they said that they did another hip scan in the frog pose to check that her hips were still okay, and then they sent us home saying that we needed to come back to see the consultants in clinic, because basically they were stumped, they didn't know. So we came back a week later to the next scheduled appointment, saw another consultant. He scratched his head and said, you need to be seen by the specialist paediatric trauma orthopaedic surgeon. And she had a clinic that week, and they were going to try their best to get Felicity squeezed into that clinic, because it was currently full. So I went away expecting a phone call that day. The phone call didn't come, and then I called up and tried to chase it, and eventually they said yes, bring her in. I called the morning of the clinic and said I was told she would be seen in this clinic, and no one's contacted me. So we did go in that day and met with the paediatric trauma orthopaedic surgeon. She said that maybe Felicity was just really frightened, that they see this in sometimes where an injury occurs and your body continues to tell you that it's hurting even though it's really not. And I queried, could you have missed a meniscus tear on the MRI? Because in all the research I've been doing myself in desperation to find out what on earth could be wrong with her, I kept coming to the meniscus tear, where you tear the meniscus and part of the tissue gets caught in the knee joint, stopping the knee from being able to fully work. And she said that there was a chance that the MRI may well have missed an injury, but she wasn't at that point going to order another MRI. So I left feeling incredibly frustrated. She told me that they'd see me in 6 to 8 weeks. And I remember writing a community post on here and on Instagram saying that I couldn't bear the thought of her being like this for another week, let alone another 6 to 8 weeks. I was also told in that appointment that they would refer her to physio and that she could start physiotherapy. Summer had an appointment booked for physio because that's my older daughter, she has physio on her ankles. So Felicity came along with me one afternoon to Summer's appointment, and the physio said, oh, I already know about Felicity. She's been referred to me and I've spoken to her consultant and had a letter from her consultant about her. And another MRI has been ordered. And I said, are you sure? Because she said she wasn't going to do another MRI yet. And she said, no, she's definitely ordered another MRI. So the letter that I received, like the breakdown of the appointment, said at the end of that letter, after Mum and Felicity left, I decided that actually it wouldn't be harmful to do another MRI because these things all take so long. So another MRI was booked, and it was 3 weeks time. So we went to the MRI, and still I was convinced that there must be an injury. We started physio, and the physio said that because Felicity had now been poorly for such a prolonged length of time, that an injury within her knee would have healed, or at least be well on its way to being healed all on its own. So they're not hopeful that they're going to find an injury, which is, you know, what I didn't want to hear. And then I went to see a GP with her because she just wasn't feeling very well and she was in a lot of pain one day. And the GP said about a condition called complex regional pain syndrome. She'd suffered with it herself in the past. She's like a much older GP, really lovely lady. And she said that she'd had an operation on her hand, and that after the hand had healed, she was left with complex regional pain syndrome. And she says, I remember my husband having to touch my hand, and I would be crying in pain, but having to continue to go through that pain because we needed my brain to know that I was no longer injured. And she said, her words to me were, I don't want you to go away and extensively research this because you will make yourself sick with worry. So of course I came away and I went straight to Google and started to research complex regional pain syndrome. And you know those little buttons where you click images? I clicked on images and I saw some really horrible images of people with this syndrome, and their legs being massive and purple and so painful. And I knew straight away that she wasn't joking when she said, you'll make yourself sick worrying. And I was like, no, this isn't Felicity's story. She's not going to have complex regional pain syndrome. I'm supposed to be making Sienna her lunch. And it's definitely going to be something else. So I was still at this point just holding on to every hope that I was going to get a phone call that was going to say, yeah, she's got a meniscus tear, we're going to do an operation, we're going to fix her and she's going to get better. That was all I could think about, was just hoping and praying that that would be what I would get told. The 3 weeks passed between the MRI and the appointment that we had yesterday, and so we're on Wednesday now. So Tuesday, yesterday we saw the consultant, but on Monday, I actually mentioned this in the previous video, we saw physio, and she said that she'd spoken with Felicity's consultant, and the road that the consultant was going down was the CRPS diagnosis. I'd also received on the weekend a letter for the paediatricians, which I knew when I received that letter from the paediatricians that they hadn't found an injury, because the GP had already told me that if they don't find an injury with trauma and orthopaedics, they will refer her to paediatrics. So when I got that letter on Saturday for paediatrics, I knew that there was no injury, and I just didn't want to give up on that last bit of hope that I was clinging on to. So I went into that consultant appointment yesterday knowing what I was going to get told, but just not wanting to believe it. So I took my mum with me. I didn't want to go on my own. I knew that there was loads of questions I'd need to ask, and that if I went on my own, I'd probably just forget. So my mum picked me and Felicity up yesterday afternoon. We went to the consultant and we did get the diagnosis of CRPS. I've explained to Felicity in the best way that I can. I mean, no one really knows what to do for the best, but I've explained it to her as well as I can. There was a lot of tears in our house last night, Felicity's included. It was horrible to see her last night saying, I just wish I'd never gone swimming that day, because complex regional pain syndrome happens after an injury. So to try and explain it a little bit, because I'd never heard of it before now, and there'll be more than, plenty of people that will also not have a clue what it is. So complex regional pain syndrome happens when you have a trauma or a surgery, and the trauma or surgery repairs and heals, but your brain continues to tell you that this is hurting. So for example, you break your arm, you're playing sports, you fall over, you break your arm, your brain goes, ow, 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 that really hurts. And you go, ow, oh my God, it hurts so much. And I explained it to Felicity, was like, do you know when you bump your elbow and you go, oh, that really hurts, ow, 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 and then the pain goes away and you're like, oh, that really hurt, but I'm all right now. Well, if you was to break your elbow, your brain is going to go, ow, 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 and you're going to go like this, and then it's going to continue to keep going, ow, 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 until you go to the hospital to get your bone fixed. So you go to the hospital going, ow, 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 and they do an x-ray and they say, yes, you broke your bone, we're going to stick you in a plaster cast and your bone's going to fix. And then you spend that time in your plaster cast, you go back to the hospital, they take the plaster cast off, they do an x-ray, they go, there you go, your bone's all fixed. There's no break there anymore. There's no reason for you to be in any more pain. At this point, your brain is supposed to know that, and your brain goes, oh yeah, I can touch my arm again now, I can move my arm again now, everything's fine. But when complex regional pain syndrome happens, that process doesn't happen. So your brain continues to fire the signals of pain. So the pain you feel is real, and it's really hard for people to understand, because how can you be in so much pain when you look so normal? But the pain that you're feeling is ever so real, and it's just a really horrible condition to be left with, because there isn't a cure, and there is treatment, but no one can tell you if you're going to recover or if you'll ever be better, or how long that's going to take. And it's been really difficult in the last 48 hours to accept and come to terms with that, with that exact thing, that you don't know how long this is going to take. We don't know if she will get better. Obviously, we're filling her with as much positive as we can. We're going to get her better. We've caught it really early, which is great. She's young, which is great. So there is every chance with the right therapy that we can get her better. So that's the goal now, is to get Felicity better. She's having weekly physiotherapy. She's starting hydrotherapy tomorrow, and we're seeing the paediatrics on the 20th, where hopefully they'll tell us more about the condition and more about what we can do. Part of me is like, the hope is that we go to the paediatricians and they go, oh no, it's not that, it's this. But the truth is that the consultant has told us that they are more than certain that the paediatrician will give the same diagnosis. And although Felicity had symptoms of CRPS, she didn't have all of the symptoms several weeks ago. However, now she has got more of the CRPS symptoms. I'll pop a little box up. I've already posted this on Instagram. It says what the symptoms are. But off the top of my head, it's changes in skin colour. Felicity's bad leg is slightly darker, like a reddy purpley colour than her good leg. Changes in temperature. Obviously, like I said, her leg was freezing cold that day, and that hasn't changed. It doesn't stay freezing cold all the time. It does warm up like after she's been in the hot tub, when she's been under quilts and she's been asleep. But as she's awake and the day goes on, by the time I pick her up from school, that leg is freezing. So I dump her straight in the hot tub and, you know, work on getting that leg warmed back up and moving again, because it's always very cold and very mottled. Another symptom is swelling. Obviously she had the swelling when I took her into hospital, but that swelling has come back and gone down, which is why it was so very difficult to accept that she was just frightened, because why would she have swelling if there wasn't an injury? But swelling is a symptom as well of CRPS. And hair growth, which is really strange. So when I saw that GP, she said to me, can I have a look at your feet and take your socks off, because is there any changes in your nail growth or your hair growth? And at that point there was no change whatsoever. But now Felicity has a patch of hair that's grown on her knee, which isn't on the other knee. Thankfully she's very blonde, so it's not very visible, but you can see that she has a patch now of hair growth that she doesn't have on the other knee. So that's all of like her sorts of symptoms. So what we feel happened was she went swimming, she had the time of her life on that obstacle course, and she strained her knee in doing so, and the knee strain got better, but it triggered CRPS, and that is now what she has. So yeah, like I say, all I want to achieve is to maybe one day be able to help someone else. And like I said, I'm so grateful that I already have somebody from this channel. You know, this lady said, I only discovered your channel because we were staying at a campsite close to the campsite you stayed at in Cornwall last summer, and I followed your YouTube since then. And then when Felicity got poorly, she sent me messages saying that her daughter has chronic pain, and had I noticed any changes in colour in her leg. And I was like, well, no, it's colder, but it's not changed in colour. Obviously it has now. And like, I just think how, you know, everything happens for a reason. I'm a great believer in everything happens for a reason. There was a reason that despite all the negativity that I get thrown at me, despite all of the things that people do, I have kept doing this. And, you know, maybe I can reach somebody in the future and they'll watch this and they'll resonate and it will help them. And in the meantime, just for us, it's just great to be able to be in touch with people that are going through the same thing. But now I need to give Sienna this was meant to be a chicken wrap with salad in it, and this is as far as I've got. I need to give Sienna her lunch. I need to do some home learning with Sienna, and then we're going to Felicity's class assembly. So yeah, we're going to go and watch her in her assembly and just see her doing something that's so normal, and that's so important that we just keep her life as normal as possible. But she woke up this morning full of determination that she's going to beat this. She did mirror therapy and physiotherapy before she even went to school this morning. So super proud of how much determination she woke up with today. What colour are you going to do your first Roblox character?
I'm doing this egg.
Oh, you're going to do the other egg, are you?
And then add my white Roblox, colour
Roblox in. Sienna,
yeah.
I'm going to ask you some questions for your mindful book. Okay, I've got, who's in your family?
You already did that.
No, I've got more questions. Got some more questions for you. And it says, who's in your family? We did this yesterday, some family work, didn't we? Yeah. And we drew a spaceship, and on the spaceship we had to...
I'm going to invite anybody that got Charlie and Costa.
I said we need to write all of your family members to go on the spaceship, and you put Mummy, Daddy, Felicity, you put yourself twice, you put...
Yeah, because nobody can leave without some attitude.
And then you say, I'm leaving Summer behind because she's got attitude, I'm leaving Riley behind because he's got attitude, Jamie...
No, Summer because she's flat up.
Oh, Summer because she turns her light on in the bedroom and it annoys you when you're asleep. Why were you leaving Jamie behind?
Because he got attitude.
Because he's got attitude. And why were you leaving Reese behind?
Because he farts.
Because he farts. But you were going to take the...
Oh wait, and Jamie, you farted on my face yesterday.
You love having big brothers, don't you?
No.
No. Right, but we need to write all your family members, even if you don't like them today.
No.
Yeah. Can you remember? It's just, I don't think the box is big enough.
We can't do bread.
I tell you what, we'll do something different. We'll do more fun questions. Things that you like and things that you don't like.
Food.
You like food. And what's your favourite food? What's your favourite food? Is it begin with a P? Does it begin with a P? No?
Sweet.
Sweets? It's not really a food. What other foods do you like?
Said I don't like to eat any biscuits.
You say you weren't allowed to eat any. Got to eat less. And what about other foods? What's your other foods that you like? Is it pizza?
Pizza.
Pizza. And where are you going to eat loads of pizza to?
Pizza.
Hello. Where are you going to eat loads of pizza to? In Italy? Why, who's going to Italy? You're not going to Italy, are you?
Me, not you.
Oh, you just
You
going...
put me in the eyeball.
I didn't do it on purpose. I just moved your hair. I didn't mean to poke you in the eyeball. Please, can I come to Italy?
Okay.
Okay.
But you're going to sit by the toilet.
What? On the aeroplane I've got to sit by the toilet? I hope not. It'll be smelly.
That puts someone by the toilet.
Put summer by the toilets. Is there anything else you like? Is there any sports that you like? What about...
Start with a J.
A J? Ooh. Is it jumping?
No.
Is it a J?
Oh, you dumb. Gymnastics.
I was going to say, is it a J that's actually a G? Because gymnastics begins with a G. So yeah, I wasn't crazy. It begins with a G.
Oh, boy.
Gym.
Look how sharp I made it.
Whoa. Gymnastics. That is a sharp pencil. What about things you don't like? What don't you like? This could go terribly wrong. What don't you like?
Stool.
Stew?
Stool.
Oh, school. I thought you said stew. You say you don't like school, but when I come to get you, you always look like you're having a lovely time. Playing with your friends, doing your phonics. Anything else you don't like? No?
Stew.
Just school.
No.
Oh no. What's the other thing?
Stew.
Stew?
Yeah.
You don't like stew?
I hate when you cook it.
Okay, good, because I don't like it much either, but Daddy does. You don't like stew. Do you like spiders? Do you like spiders?
No.
No.
Or moths.
Or moths?
I can't even feel behind me today.
Why?
Because there was a moth flying around in our classroom.
Oh no, and what are all the caterpillars that have invaded our hedge going to turn into?
I'm scared.
They're not turning into pretty butterflies, are they?
Moth.
They're turning into moths. So we've got to make sure we keep all of the windows closed.
I bet you need a bathroom
Yeah,
window. Because we already got a spider in there.
Where is the spider that lives in the
There's
bathroom?
two there. Why we pack up there?
I think he might have been tricking you. I think he might have said he'd killed it when he hadn't. Because he didn't want to kill it. Because that's not very friendly.
No, but I hate spiders.
But when we leave the light on in the bathroom and leave the window open, it turns into like a nature reserve, doesn't it?
What?
Fills up with moths. We don't want that to happen when all those caterpillars turn into
I
moths.
got 4 miles.
Oh, did you do the Golden Mile?
Yeah.
You managed to run 4 miles?
Yeah.
Did you?
And I can run 2 meters.
Wow, you are clever. Right, we need to get a crack on with this so then we can go and go to Felicity's assembly. Hiding out in Kev's dressing gown because I can't warm myself up. I feel absolutely frozen to the bone. I could easily go to sleep. I could go to bed right now at 7:30 and I think I could sleep all night. I feel absolutely shattered, which is making me feel super cold. Not being helped by the fact that it's the 1st of May and the weather is still awful, to the point that we've just switched the heating on. But anyway, I think we need to start calling Felicity the Flamingo, because that assembly, every time they sung a song or did a poem, she stood on one leg. I mean, I don't know why I'm demonstrating that to you, because you can't see. Kev's also just been to the shop to get us something sweet and yummy for pudding. But yeah, I don't know why I'm stood here trying to demonstrate standing on one leg. But what I certainly couldn't do is stand on one leg for several minutes like she can. She was brilliant, wasn't she? Yeah. She didn't like topple once. Her teaching assistant was sat right next to her to catch her if she did. But she can stand there on one leg for ages. And not topple over. So yeah, she did really well. And then we picked them up from school and took them for a McDonald's for their tea.
Does anyone want to guess how much a tin of Ambrosier custard is in a local shop?
A lot.
£1.60.
Mind you, it's not. That's not far off what it is in the supermarket if it's not on offer. At best, it goes on offer. Oh yes, that's a bit of me. Chocolate fudge cake and custard.
I got these because they were new. And I didn't know if you tried them yet.
If anyone's here that watches our grocery hauls as well, yes, yes, we have tried these. Oh. We've already discovered these, and we had them with the shopping this week.
I got some morning wake me ups as well.
Oh, this guy's been down the
watermelon monster.
Oh,
I got 2 of those.
Well, hopefully Jamie will like them.
Some of these ones that you like.
Oh, I like these ones. These Robicon raw. These are all produced 50p. I hope that doesn't mean they're discontinuing them, because I like these ones. But anyway, that's Kev's bargains. Kev's bargains of the day.
Well, not really, because it went till after I paid. I realised he'd scanned the Cokes twice, so he's put £4 going back on the card.
Oh gosh. At least you realised and was able to get it refunded.
No, because I scanned my phone, I was like...
That sounded like a lot.
Hold on a sec. It says, have you got the receipt? I didn't give me that, left on the side. And I says, oh, you scanned the Cokes twice. Oh
no. But anyway, thank you for watching today's video. Like I said, I hope one day this might help somebody else. But we're going to go and eat chocolate fudge cake and custard. And hope that none of the children smell it as it's warming up. And otherwise we'd be a bit piggish to eat it all to ourselves, wouldn't it?
I'm not eating it all to myself, I'm eating half.
You're going to eat a whole half?
What, you're going to tell me you're not?
No, I'm definitely... I mean, I could, but I'm not going to. I had a super healthy salad for lunch, and then Kev came to on his lunch break to watch Felicity's assembly, and he said, "What's for tea?" And I went, "Do you know what? I can't even think about it." And you know those days where you're like, I just can't be bothered to cook dinner, and those days where you just want a convenience meal, which we don't have any of those in the freezer at the moment. So I was like, I just want something that I can just bung in and just do quickly. And then he went to Sienna, we could have a McDonald's.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was Kev's idea.
It was a well done to Felicity.
Well done for doing a class assembly, yeah. So I had this really amazing healthy salad with avocado and chicken for lunch. And then went at McDonald's for tea, and now I'm going to eat fudge cake and custard and eat away all of my worries, emotionally eat all my worries away. But anyway, thanks for watching guys, and we will see you all very, very soon.